joining me for another episode of Inspirations. That's my podcast about knitting, about my passion, about yarn dyeing. I'm a professional yarn dyer. I live in France. I'm based in Normandy. My dye studio is based in Normandy. And my name is Christelle. If you're watching the podcast for the first time, there's a new episode every Monday at 5 p.m. I'm also sending a newsletter at 5 p.m. on Mondays, just to let you know what's new in the shop, what you can expect to find, so that you don't have to watch the podcast beforehand if you'd like to place an order in the shop, because sometimes it can be very quick, and that's my way of ensuring that you, newsletter subscribers, get the good stuff first. If I may summarize the situation. Also, the shop is updated twice a month. Usually beginning of the month, it's the pre-orders for my club, the Sock Knitters Almanac. I've been dyeing yarn with that theme since 2021. It's beginning to be a big, beautiful family of colorways. And there is now 2 colorways every month. You can order the main colorway and the contrasting colorway. It's called contrasting, but it's not always so contrasting. Sometimes it's more of a companion colorway, which you are going to be able to fade into the main colorway. It's always, pairing very well. It could be in a contrasting project or in a, more fading project. The Sock Knitters Almanac is largely inspired by the Knitters Almanac of Elizabeth Zimmermann, which is one of the most inspiring knitting books that I've ever read, and which is still a reference for me. And that's it, guys. Okay? And I'm a huge sock geek. Knitting, hand knit sock geek. But I've lost my mojo, I must admit. I've not knitted a sock, maybe just one since the beginning of the year. I'm not meaning one pair of socks, just the one sock. I'm not forcing it. I'm more into sweaters and shawls right now. More sweaters, actually. And I'm not forcing it. I mean, I think it's going to, get back. It's going to be back at one point. I had the slightest itch to knit a sock like a week ago. It was very tiny and they went away almost immediately. Anyway, for this episode, I'm going to share with you the Sock Knitters Almanac colorways for July 2023. I'm going to give you some news about the shop, and at the end of the episode, I'm going to share my progress on the Henslow shawl that I'm knitting out of one of my very heavily variegated colorways. But first of all, I'm going to tell you all about the July colorways for the Sock Knitters Almanac. So this time around is a bit different because actually what happened is that in June I was preparing the Bigoudelaine, which is a fiber show in Bretagne, and I had my mind set on dyeing Journée d'été, which was the July colorway of the Sock Knitters Almanac for 2022, which is still one of my bestsellers. I'm dyeing that colorway for every fiber show I'm vending at, and so I was planning on dyeing that colorway, but for some reason I messed up the recipe. Actually, from the very start I messed up the recipe. I usually start with a base to give a background of color to the colorway. And I started with the wrong base. So fortunately, I noticed it was not the Journée d'été that I knew fairly early in the dyeing process. I was like, well, let's go with the flow and improvise something. And I was really digging, light and saturated colors and warm colors and something with a lot of energy and good vibes and summery and you know, like something very dynamic, and I came up with the colorway for this month. I'm going to share with you the mood board that I put together to try and share what I had in my mind when I dyed that colorway, and this would be it actually. I think it's pretty close, and that's definitely how I'm vibing towards this colorway. And I would say that the inspiration is more like, you know, it's at, yeah, we've had, for those of you watching the podcast last week, we've had a beautiful week with very high temperatures. I mean, it's a bit like the weather is bipolar, because like when I recorded the podcast last week, the day started at like 15 degrees and rainy, and then the sun came out, and from the day after we went straight into the 30s degrees Celsius. It was super hot. I mean, no in between, okay? It's either cold and rainy, like it's October, and it's super hot, and we're sweating, we have to shed all the clothes, and I mean, there's no in between. It's really strange. And sometimes you have that difference in one day. I mean, as soon as the sun is covered by the clouds, the temperatures drop. And it's crazy. You lost 10 to 12 degrees in like 2 hours. It's crazy. So for the time being, the weather is super sunny, very warm. We have to stay indoors, not to be burning up outside. And I'm actually enjoying it very much, because I was craving warmth and sunlight and light, and you know, I was craving it. So it's awesome to have such good weather now, and the colorway is actually vibing with this. Well, I'm going to move forward because I'm very talkative today. So remember, it's not my usual prototype dye bath, so I don't have the same range of bases to share with you, because I plan to dye Journée d'été mainly on Stellina, mohair and silk and extra fine. But here is the colorway of the month, and it's called Fuego. I told you it would be caliente. I mean, there's nothing more caliente than fuego, okay? I don't speak Spanish. Just a few words here and there. So this is Fuego, and I'm so in love with that colorway. I mean, as soon as it was dry, I was like in awe, and I caked it up straight away and cast on. I mean, it doesn't happen so often. It happens, but not so often. So here it is on extra fine fingering. And I mean, look at that neon yellow. I mean, I love it so much. It's so beautiful. And wait until you see it knitted up. It's crazy beautiful. I'm loving that colorway so much. So that's another extra fine fingering. I'm not going to share with you each and every skein of extra fine fingering. This is on Stellina, so it's a bit more muted. Colorway are less separated, but that's the game with Stellina. It's always like that. And this is on mohair and silk. And so I told you I was, knitting something with it. Actually, I had my eyes on a pattern. I wanted to knit with macaron and meringue, but this came around, and I told myself, I decided I wanted to knit the pattern with this instead. So the pattern is this one, is the As If Tea Light by Shay Johnson. And it's a beautiful pattern. It's a t-shirt with a heart shape for, I don't know how you say it in English. It's the bust. Okay, I'm going to read from the pattern. It says, this tea harkens back to the nostalgia of the 90s and is inspired by the gym class scene in the cult classic film Clueless. So the body is made of fingering weight and less weight yarn held together, and the sheer neckline, you can see here, allows for breathability and a bit of flirtiness. And I love the heart shape of the tee, and the fact that it's playing with, you know, different transparency level of the different bases, and it's lovely. Actually, this pattern was released first as a heavier, knitted with a heavier yarn, as the As If tee, and this is the As If tee light. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So that's what I started, and here it is. Look at that! How beautiful is that? The pattern is very, very well written. It's size inclusive. It goes up to I'm not sure. I think I didn't print out the sizes. I'm sorry about that. Well, it's because it doesn't give any letters to the sizes on the pattern, but also size 12. It's because it doesn't speak to me. It's not the European sizes, I think. So it's up to from size 1 to size 12. Size 1 is body circumference 32 inches, and size 12 is 65.6 inches. So I believe it's pretty size inclusive. It's very well written. It's quite detailed. The pattern is 14 pages long, something like that, with beautiful photos. No, great work from the designer. And you start by the bottom. You need the ribbing, and then it's straight stockinette until you separate for the arms, and then I think you knit the front and the back separately, and you use intarsia to knit the heart shape of the bust. I can't wait to, you know, be done with it, because I really want to wear it. I just have a question regarding, you know, the wearability of the association of mohair and silk and merino during the warmer month. Maybe it will be an, you know, a transitioning piece, maybe not for the warmer part of the year, but because we hadn't have any in between this year, I hope autumn is going to be a bit more like, you know, smooth in the transition, so that I can wear that. Okay, I really want to wear that, and I think I should be wearing it in summer. I mean, the colors, you know, the theme is, I need to know. Well, anyway. Oh, and this is in the cake, if you want to know. This is the mohair and silk, and this is the extra thin fingering. So that's Fuego for you guys. I'm loving that colorway so much. And then the contrasting colorway for this month is called Lava Love. And it's super hot as well. I mean, see that? That's the vibe. Okay, guys. Lava Love is a mix of warm yellow and deep pink, with beautiful kind of nuanced speckles. I was not trying to go too much bold on the contrast on this one. I was more in the same family of colors, but it's beautifully nuanced. You have these like warm oranges and pink and red. It's gorgeous. So that's Lava Love, And this is on extra fine fingering. This is on MCN. This was a regular, you know, regular bath, regular, yeah, prototype dye bath for the first one. This is on BFL. This is on extra fine and silk. Beautiful base as well. And this is, oops, I'm going to put them behind me. This is on mohair and silk. And I also have Stellina, but it's not quite dry, but I just wanted to show you guys how it looks on Stellina because it's beautiful. It's golden Stellina, and on golden Stellina it's beautiful. It plays wonderfully with the color. It's gorgeous. So I decided to use extra fine fingering for my project. I'm going to knit a sample. You know, I'm always knitting little square sample and crocheting square samples for the colorways. I'm going to use extra fine fingering for those, but I'm definitely going to use Stellina for Lava Love, okay? And here you go, guys, for the colorway for the month of July. I have to change batteries. I mean, it's becoming a tradition now. That way I can share my beautiful new combinaison. It's a onesie. You see, it's not only in the colors, in the yarn that I love colors. It's also with my wardrobe. So that was Lava Love. And so both colorways are available in my shop right now as pre-orders. You can expect a dyeing turnover of 4 weeks for everything that's in the shop. That's the rule. I very seldom have in stock yarn. It's always pre-orders, and there is always a dyeing turnover time of 4 weeks. So you can find today in the shop as well pre-orders for the Sock Knitter's Almanac 3 months club. That's when you buy this listing, either for the main colorway or the contrasting colorway. You can expect the colorways for the 3 coming months, so that July, August and September, and that will be shipped second half of September. Of course, you don't know yet what the colorways for August and September are going to be. I don't know either. It's usually a last minute thing, okay? I do not control it. Sometimes it imposes itself to me like it did for Fuego. Clearly, I have this feeling that that colorway wanted to be picked up from the nothingness and wanted to come to the world, and it just hijacked my brain and came into being that way. It's quite funny to see it this way, but I really don't have a clue. I had actually an idea for August and I forget it. So it's very important to write down your ideas, guys, because I feel I missed something by not writing that particular idea. I thought I would remember, but I must tell myself that each time I'm telling myself I will remember, I won't remember. It's always the same thing. I'm always telling myself I will remember where I put away that particular item. I never remember. I even never remember I put away the thing to start with. I blank out completely on that kind of details. So that particular idea for the colorway of August, gone. Don't know what it was. I thought at the time it was pretty good, and I was like telling myself, oh, that's pretty good. You've dyed the colorway for July in advance. You already have the idea for August. You're just all set for the summer month. And poof, forgot. Anyway, write down your ideas. It's important. And so that was about the 3 months club. And that's it for the shop update today, okay? There won't be another episode next Monday because I will be coming back from my next fiber show, which is in Ardentes. So that's in the region of Berry. And it's on the 6th and on the 7th of July from 10 a.m. You've got all the details on the homepage of my website in the agenda section. And so I will be driving back from Berry on the 8th of July, so no podcast, no shop update on that day. But then on the 15th of July, you can expect a shop update for colorways of the Socknitters Almanac from past Julys. So I'm going to share a couple of pictures here that would be, so that will be in the shop, and I will talk about it on the day will be in the shop more in details. And I think I will have the knitted samples with me, but just so you know, on the 15th I will update the shop with colorways from July 2021, and that was Beach Treasure, and that one was inspired by actually my grandmother, who was Mauritian and used to pick those huge shells from the bottom of the sea. Actually, she was collecting them, and she went diving to pick them up at the bottom of the sea, and she had that beautiful collection at home, and it was kind of a dear souvenir that I had of her. She unfortunately passed away a few years back, and so that was my way of honoring her memory and my mixed race heritage as well, from Mauritius and Madagascar. So that one was to my grandma. Beach Treasure. And then in July 2022 it was Journée d'été, the infamous Journée d'été I was trying to dye when I created Fuego. Not infamous, it's not fair to it. It's a beautiful colorway full of vibrant speckles. I love that colorway, it's so joyful, and it's one of my best sellers. I always dye it for new fiber shows, and it's very often sells out. So one of my favorite colorways, and the inspiration was the perfect day of summer on vacation, and the mood board was all about pool, enjoying some time by the pool, having cocktails or mocktails, and strolling in a beautiful city, and just the most perfect summer day you could imagine. That was the theme. And then in 2023 I started dyeing 2 colorways per month because one wasn't enough, and I came up with Picnic, for which I had an issue actually, because I used a dye powder for this one that I didn't know was out of stock, and I relied solely on the dye powder I had in my dye studio. And when this ran out, I realized it was not produced anymore, and so I managed to get some scraps from a yarn shop on the other side of the sea in the US to get my hands on the very last 10 grams miniature, just to finish dyeing my pre-orders, and then I had to retire the colorway because I was not able to dye it anymore. But I reworked the colorway with, I actually had a long video call with one of my suppliers in Germany. That's Webertante. Just a big shout out to them, because the person from Webertante took the time to listen to me and to find solution with me, video call, and showed me the different samples they dyed with the different shades of red they had on stock. And I find a replacement. I did some tests, and I'm happy to say that Picnic is back, although it's not going to be named Picnic anymore, because actually the initial name I had in mind for it, and I didn't want to, I decided to be simpler at the time. I wanted to call it Guinguette Electro, and I think that it's so, that name is just a million times more like what I wanted to convey with that colorway. So from now it's going to be called Guinguette Electro. That's the new way. I'm going to write it down for you guys. Guinguette Electro is a new Picnic, okay? And I can change the name. I mean, I can, definitely. And because it's not exactly the same color I used for one of the colors I used, I mean, you could understand that you want to change the name. It's okay. And the contrasting colorway for July 2023 was Pool Party. And for that one, you have to, you know, project yourself by a swimming pool. It's summer, it's warm, okay? The waters are turquoise clear, and there is those beautiful, big, beautiful floaties, flamingo floaties, with spaces for cups and cocktails or mocktails, and you're on your swimming pool, on your floaty, and you're enjoying the day. And that's kind of the tableau I was projecting myself in when I did that colorway. And that's the way I work my colorways, guys. It's just a continuous gallery inside my head of different scenes I'm projecting myself in. And if I want to explain that a bit further, for example, for Fuego and Lava Love, you can project yourself into like Coachella, okay? I think I will never go there, and I'm not always able to, you know, I mean, I have 4 kids, okay? I have 4 kids. I'm 46. I'm not going to go to Coachella ever, okay? But I really dig the atmosphere and the, you know, the vibe and the energy and the music. And so in there, yes, I am. Definitely. I've been all week. I mean, it's going to be the theme for July, definitely. So I'm projecting myself, and I'm sharing that projection with you and my yarn. It's a bit of my what I have here that I transfer here, and yeah. So that's very personal. That's the way I'm working and the way I'm imagining my colorways each time. I'm just, you know, having pictures. I have tableau and scenes in my head I'm projecting myself onto, just, you know, for feeling good and feeling alive, basically, and enjoying life. And that's the vibe for the months, okay, for July. And the last thing I wanted to share with you, yeah, I wanted to share my progress with you on the Henslow shawl by Beth Kling. So that's the shawl, that's the one. It's a beautiful one skein shawl, and I'm closing in. I'm almost done. I'm sorry, my stool is creaking. Sorry. My stool and the bowl is up. No! Ah, the bowl rolled under the couch. Okay, so here I am. Here it is. So that's Henslow by Beth Kling. I love that shawl. It's the third that I'm knitting, and I've started the perpendicular knitted on edging. And this is a very variegated colorway that I dyed for Barcelona. It's called Dream Flower. Went under the sofa, guys. This is the colorway. It's kind of beautiful. Love the colors. And what I love about that shawl is that it's playing with the direction of knitting as well. So you're going to, you see, it's going to, you knit this part like this, and then you knit this part, the lace part, like this, and then you have the little edging perpendicularly, and then you have stripes forming. Really, it's beautiful. And this is the perfect shawl if you want to knit something out of heavily variegated yarn, but you don't want to knit a simple triangle in garter stitch. So that one works perfectly with any yarn, really. Any yarn you fancy, you can knit that pattern with. And it is it's the third time that I'm knitting it, and each time I had enough with a 400 meter, even 360 I think is okay. This is what is left, and I think I'm going to have leftovers again. So yeah, Henslow, and I'm knitting that out of nostalgia basically, because I really love that pattern, and it was one of the first, you know, more complicated patterns that I knitted back when I started knitting in 2011. I think I knitted the first one in 2012, and I learned so much thanks to that pattern. And also because I wanted to have an example of what you can do with one skein of fingering weight yarn for my booth, because I usually have the question from knitters not so familiar with you know, yarn in skein form and what you can do with one skein. And so it's going to be a great example of what you can do with one skein. You always can, you know, you always can knit a hat, a caul, socks, mitts, but I think that a shawl, you really have to see what one skein of yarn, of fingering weight yarn, can yield in terms of size. And this one is pretty sweet because that part is going to grow tremendously when I'm going to block it, and I will show you guys when it's blocked. But it's nothing much really when you look at it like that, but once it's blocked, it's absolutely gorgeous. Well, you saw the picture from Beth. It's beautiful. So there you go, guys. That was it for this episode. So again, no episode on the 8th, but I will be back on the 15th to you know, share with you the colorways of previous Julys from the Sock Knitter's Almanac. I'll share the knitted samples. I don't know if I will have the skins on hand, but I will definitely have the samples. And yeah, I will debrief you from the yarn festival I'm going to be vending at this weekend, so in Ardentes. Oh, and also, if you're around, I will be in Valenciennes on the 19th and 20th of July for a pop-up shop at Atelier Coco Bohème. I will put all the details back in the newsletter, and you will also be able to find the details on my homepage in the agenda section. Anyway, take care, guys. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.